Hi there, Chris here. In I don't know, a couple videos ago, I picked this beautiful double-sided Euro cylinder that Jack Fox sent me. Thank you, Jack. Didn't have a key, and let's see, I think Peter Lewis sent it to him. So I had picked it, and I said I might make a key. And Cherokee made a comment like, "Oh, I know what you can do with the other half," because I said I may cut it to do that. So that's all the motivation I needed to proceed. Now, I had no problem cutting it, picking it, and when I make a key, where's my key? I have a problem losing keys. Oh, no? Yes, no. I just had it. Oh, it's right sitting in here, right in front of me, see? So you can see I've made this key. And they all go to shear. So this is what, it's always fun to make a key for a lock that you didn't have a key for, because then all of a sudden you make your key and you have your bitting. You can see what it all is. And I do need to hang the lock, or hang the 6-pin off of here. And the pins in my lab kit are a little bit fatter. Do I have one here? A little bit fatter around. And so they don't work. This might be one. Yeah, they see how it just sort of, oops. I'll hold this. See how it's kind of tight? I mean, there's much more, there's a lot more space between the normal Yale pins. So what I'll do, I mean, it just barely goes in there. So what I'll do is a little trick I call rolling your own. And you take a piece of 500, 600 grit sandpaper, and you put lighter fluid on it, something to lubricate it, and then you just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it's amazing how much you can take off. I've showed this before with like a colored pin, like a red pin, and you know, all the middle's off, and the edges are, you have to work on the edges a little bit. I know actually the edges come off first, and you got to work on the middle with your fingernail. But you can slim them down. That's one way. You could put it in a lathe, or you can buy pin stock and just make one. But anyway, that's a cute trick, and it works real well. So what's going on here? All right, I have said this on my channel many times. Don't go ahead when you're watching videos, pick locks, you know, practice, do all that, watch your video. But if you're working on locks, taking them apart, putting them back together, do not watch videos. I've said that, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. And it would be nice if I followed my own advice, but I didn't. So I had these last pins in there, and I was checking the key, which I do, put it together and make sure it all works with everything all in it. All these guys. Well, actually, I was working the first 3 pins. And what I neglected to do was take the drivers. I didn't have key pins in the back here. I neglected to take springs and drivers out of these. And of course, I got it picked, and I was pushing it through, and these pins and drivers and springs got all jacked up. I mean, the springs will push the driver down into the key pin holes, and then the spring will protrude, and then you push this through, it snags the springs. So sometimes you can unbrick them, sometimes you can't. But I could not, so I ended up having to drill out these last 3. And it's not too tough. I use just a hand drill. Sometimes I punch the center of the pin, sometimes I don't. And what you're doing is just, you pick a drill bit that's just a little bit smaller than this plug. And you drill down a little lubricant on your drill bit. And you can get that plug out, and you don't, generally you don't wreck the springs. These back springs got wrecked just because they got all snagged. And you can get probably, if you have a fairly high quality drill bit, you can get probably 10 plugs before it starts getting dull. And you don't want to use dull ones. These are all pretty clean. These can all be plugged. Or literally, you can just do that. Or use a better piece of tape, but that works. But if you use a dull drill bit or one that dulls up, it starts crabbing on you and you get this. I'm still not deep enough to ruin this little ledge where that pick does, maybe a little bit here, where the plug goes. But it starts crabbing on you, and it's really tough to save. So that's all that. Anyway, this all is in there and it works, and I'll turn down a little pin for the 6 pin, and I'll do the same for this guy. And I'll probably try and get some stock and pin these. That I have to patch a little bit, but hey, I'll keep that one. This one is, this one will plug pretty nicely. Those are all still pretty round. I was able to not really touch the sides much. So there you go. That's that. Pocket Woman asked, because I had picked, what did I pick? An Abus 3 kite star lock, and there's an interior and exterior. And I thought, well, this might be one as well. But actually, the pinning, and the question was, is the pinning the same? On the Abus, I don't believe it is. This one, it turned out that it was. So the pinning is exactly the same with the drivers, the security drivers. They're not trying to save any money. So that answers Pocket Woman's question. Generally, if you see, where is it? Abus. Well, that's not it. It's an 8840. Okay, I'll just grab this one. Generally, if you see this anti-snap, that's going to be the outside. And sometimes it's even marked for you, exterior. And generally, these are going to have more security pins than this side I've found. Not always, but anyway, that answers Pocket Woman's question. And over here, Schlegs. These cool Schleg locks, padlock bodies. These are going out to King Street Rob, because we had some conversations and emails about these, and so these are going to be going out to you, King Street. And I guess that's it. Yeah. Anyway, do as I suggest. Pick locks, but don't work. Pick locks while you're watching videos, but do not work on them while you're watching videos, because you space and you can forget something, and then you have to spend a lot more time. On the other hand, it's kind of fun to be able to have this skill set, but it's hard earned. And this would have been done in about 15 minutes, the whole rekey or keying and all that. And then, as opposed to like an hour. So, and this one, can't remember, what did I do here? Same thing, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe. Thanks for all your support. And we will see you next time.